Hey everybody, I found this folder on the computer that I had a bunch of recordings on there that were just from the voice recorder as it happened. And a couple of them I had like a little bit later on that I remembered, so I put it on a voice recorder. So I'm going to put them in order and just put them in a video for you guys to enjoy. It's just things that happened at work. Just weird things that happened at work I couldn't really figure out. So I got their voice recorder, and I used to go into work really early. Well, I still do sometime. I go and work like hours and hours early, and I'll work on something, and I might take a nap. I might get back up, work on something else, and if something happens, I grab the voice recorder, I record real quick. So here's those recordings I had. Enjoy the video.
Well, it's this time, 1:30. I was working outside putting the security cameras up, and I heard some coyotes way off, not way off, but they were inside the complex, and howling. They sounded kind of young. Anyways, I come inside, put the forklift, close the door, bring the forklift in, and everything, and I needed the ladder to go into the bathroom to climb up on top of the cabinets to hook up the camera connectors. And I pick up the ladder and I start walking up front. I start walking through the plastic. I had two sets of lights on, one on the other side of the plastic by the garage door, and then the other side by machine 5, 6, and 7, 8. And I thought I heard someone walking up running or something like that. So I stopped, I turned around, I looked, there was nothing, and thought I heard a thump. Like someone tapped the side of a box or something. So then I was like, hell with it. So I go over, I turn the breakers off, walk over, grab the ladder, start walking up front. Some of the way up front, I turned the corner, come up by the office, and I kept hearing some noises, like tapping behind me on some boxes, like some, kind of like thuds. I get the ladder and walk into the bathroom, and I walk through the plastic. So then I walk up and I put it up on top of the over on the side of the cabinet, and I move one of the panels out. And I says, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I go in my stall, and I heard the plastic, like someone hit it with their hand. And then I heard some noises out here. So now I was like, I come out and I turn the lights on. Someone's f***ing me. So far I didn't hear anything, so it's been about 15 minutes. But I got the wires all hooked up. Now I just have to hook it in the back of the camera VCR thingy, and then see if I got them lined up. A little bit ago, about 4:01, I'm laying in bed and something woke me up, and it sounded like somebody walking up above on a storage room up above and on top, and I heard the rollers move, like they stepped on their rollers too. It was about 5:15. I'm in the back working on that box, putting a shelf and stuff in there, and I'm putting the screws underneath, and I had a work light working, and it was fine until it started flickering and stuff, like it had a bad connection. And I was just done putting in the last screw, and I'm sitting there picking stuff up, and I heard, I seen it's flickering, and I says, that's enough of that, and it stopped, and I heard a noise out. It's like a knock outside that box somewhere. I was like, I hurried up and left the box and looked around, nothing was there. (2016) March 21, 2016. I was laying in bed at work. I can't remember what the time it was, but I was awake. I remember waking up and sitting there for whatever reason, laying down, and I felt a warm air blown in my face. It was warm. It was a warm burst of air blowing in my face. and I don't know what the hell ever happened of it. I don't know what it caused it. And I sat there for a while, like looking to see what the hell it was. In the dark, nothing. But it was a warm blast of air instead of cold. I can't remember what the date was. It was a couple months ago. It was about a month and a half ago from today's date that's being recorded, 3/22 of 2016. I was on top of the glue tank, mixing the glue. And I can see out the corner of my left eye, about on the left side of my eye, somebody walking. And I fucking seen somebody, a dark figure walking. And I turned my head and it was gone. It wasn't even there. I was like, yeah, that was somebody walking because I seen him. Then it was about 2 weeks later. I was working at my table, my bench by my machine, and I could see something out the right side of my eye. Somebody was walking, and I turned and looked, and there was nobody there. And I know it damn well I seen something. Yeah. Okay. It was about 2 months ago. About a month and a half, between a month and a half and 2 months ago, I was walking back. I just turned the lights on, and I'm walking back, and I always hear this, like, some noise or something in between the docks, up by the front docks, and I'm walking toward the back. I got about just turned the corner, and I started walking. I heard it like a tick, and I was like, just f*** you. And as I'm walking, I took I went about 15 feet. It sounded like I heard feet, like shoes running up behind me, like 3 steps real quick, 3 or 4 steps real quick, coming running up behind me, and there was nothing there. Scared the f*** out of me. I turned around. This morning, let me turn this thing off. Hold on a second. I was dividing the glue tanks up here up front, and it was around 3:15. I'd say about 3:15. And I got them divided, so I'm carrying water from the bathroom to the tanks, and and I'm walking by. I got a couple times I walked by the first 5 gallons I dumped in 15 gallons. The second 5 gallons I stopped. I smelled the girls' bathroom outside. Like, the only way that air would flow through there is if somebody stepped out of that bathroom and brought the air out. There's no windows, there's no nothing. So I dumped that water in, I walked back, and I smelled the air right. It was probably 6 feet from the hallway is the only spot where I smelled that air, like that perfume and stuff in there, that air freshener. I walk back through the aisle, I don't smell any of the air freshener. Only out about 6 feet out in that one section. So I continue to dump the water in the tanks, and I start the forklift up, and I take one of the tanks back, and I'm driving back there, and I noticed by my machine, it stunk, like BO. It smelled pretty bad, and I was like, huh. So I put the tank there, and I drove back up front to grab the other tank, and I started driving back. Right where the forklift comes through the wall, I smelled it again, but it was a little bit different. And I drove over to my machine, and I could still smell BO. And then I parked the forklift and walked up front and didn't smell any of it. Weird. The date was it was last week, like probably May 31st. I was in my room, and it was 3:38 a.m. and I walked out of my room, and I was between my room and the break room, in the bathroom, and I heard like the door closed in the break room, the outside door closed. There was a loud noise, and that's what it sounded like. So I sat there for a minute looking. I was like, did someone just leave or someone just come in? And I locked the door behind me. So I walk in there, nobody's in there. I look outside, nobody's out there. I turn the light on, nothing. So I was like, that was weird. So later on, I go out in my truck and get the bottles out of the back of my truck, and I noticed something with the lock. It was unlocked, which seemed to be unlocked. And I was like, wait a minute, I locked it when I came into work. So I went out to the truck, got my bottles, come back in, locked it behind me, and closed the door. About 10 till, I noticed Rick isn't coming in, and I was like, what the heck? So I went up front, and he tried the door, and it was locked. So I'm sitting there thinking, I go, that should be the unlocked position is what it's in, and the doorknob's all screwed up. So we couldn't lock it. We could the door button is all screwed up. It kind of twists around a little bit weird. So I texted Brad and told him about it, and he says, can you get another one? I'll pay you back when you get to work and stuff like that. So I got a new one. I don't know if he wants it back on there. But when I got to work this morning, when I got to work last night, I noticed there's a ding in the door handle, like a mark. Like someone hit it with something or what? But I don't know. I don't know how long that's been there. I haven't seen it before. So maybe when I took it off, I didn't notice it when it was underneath or something. I don't know. So I'm going to go check now to see. This is just, I want to make sure. This goes with the last two ago. The doorknob. It might have been unlocked. I don't know, but it's weird that it's all of a sudden. I don't know. It was just weird that it was screwed up, and all of a sudden, it's fine at the end of the day. So I got a new thing anyways. It was just messed up. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden we were having trouble with it after that noise, and the next day it's fine, or that afternoon it's fine. So I don't know what's going on with that. Now this is 6/6 of 2016. It's 4:12 in the morning. I just wanted to give you this message. I've noticed that whenever I go into the girls' bathroom, there's an air freshener in there, or it has like soaps or whatever. It smells pretty, okay? It has a pretty smell. And the past couple of months, I've never really noticed this, but the past couple of months, if I leave my room and I leave it unlocked, and I go to the bathroom and I come back, and when I walk by the door, nothing, I don't smell anything. But when I walk back, I could smell something. Sometimes, last week there was a couple days, 2 days in a row, that I walked by that room, to the bathroom from my room, and that smell from the bathroom didn't come out. I didn't smell it. And I walked by there numerous times, kept smelling. I smelled nothing. No perfume smell. No pretty smell. So, that happened for 2 days in a row, and then when the doorknob thing happened, that's when the doorknob thing happened, when I didn't smell it. Well, anyways, today, I walk out there, I smell the perfume after I walked by a couple times. I smelled it. So I walked to the back and had to take some table legs back there. And I come walking back up front. Halfway when I'm up front, I smelled it in the aisle. Now, why is it all the way back that far? And then right on the corner where you turn the corner to walk in the back, I smelled it there. And then up here in the front, it was like a long trail of that perfume smell. And I was like, it shouldn't have trailed back that far if I walked back that far. But it did. So, it was weird. So that's about that. Well, the date is 7/20. Yesterday we were down. Me and Rick were up on our machine talking. They have the road closed off. And we're sitting there talking, and we go down on a forklift, which is about 15 feet from my machine, and he's about 6 feet from me to the pole. And we smell something. We smell perfume. We didn't know where it's coming from. We looked at each other. We're like, where the heck is that coming from? And Shelly came by to go outside to see if they have the road blocked off, and they did. And when she come back in, we asked her, we're outside the garage door there, which is about 20 feet away, asked her if she smells perfume. And it's not her perfume. She says, that's not my perfume. And nobody was around to spray perfume. And the only person that was closest by would have been Sarah, but she was up front. And her being up front, she comes walking back, and we're all sitting there talking about it. And when she got so close to us, we asked her if she smelled it. She goes, yeah, whoa, it hit her like a wall. So it was like right in this area that we were like right in a 15-foot round area that we smelled it. And we started talking about it, and about 30 seconds to a minute later, it's gone. It cleared up. Nothing. We don't know where it came from and where it went. But Shelly said it was me. It wasn't me. I didn't have perfume or anything, so that's about it. Really weird. 9/1/2016. Monday. Well, the past week we've been getting some new people walking through with Brad, going to hire them. I think it was last Thursday and Friday or something, whatever it was last week. Well, I been noticing since Monday, I hung up some plastic up over the storage room all the way down 80 feet of it. And when I was walking, I smell something. When I was walking back with my water bucket after I got everything hung up, I heard a noise like someone with like a heavy breath coming from the storage room area by my room or whatever. And I just kept on walking, didn't even turn around. And then when I walked down the aisle, I got over to my machine and I heard some noises over by, where they're putting the parts in the toys and stuff. And since Monday, we've hired 3 new people. And this morning, it's 4:06 now in the morning. This just happened a few minutes ago. Well, I was up here and I Corey had some glue buckets that were soaking overnight. So what I did is I drained the water out and cleaned them up and put them up on top of the sinks. And I'm sitting in here, I'll let them, whatever they're going to dry out, and I come in here and I'm sitting in here for about a half an hour. And just about 5 minutes ago, I heard one of the buckets fall. Well, before that, I was in the bathroom, going to the bathroom, and I heard something in the break room rattling around. Literally, something was moving stuff around in there. So I get up. I was thinking, okay, maybe it's the pop machine turned off, and the motor usually shakes a little bit, but it doesn't usually shake for like 3 or 4 seconds. So I walked in there with a flashlight, and nothing was moved, nothing was on the floor, nothing. So then a little while later, I come in my room, I sit down, I sit in here for about a half an hour eating something, and that's when I heard the bucket that was on top of the sink fall on the ground. So I'm looking out the peephole, and I'm sitting there looking for about 2 or 3 minutes to see if I'll see anything. Nothing. But I get a slight smell of the stuff that was in the girl's bathroom, the smell. I mean, it was just slight. I caught that whiff, and I was like, how is that smell coming out of their bathroom, down the hall, and into my bathroom, in my room? So then, after looking at it for a couple minutes, I stopped. I come over and sat down in a chair, and I walked in front of my computer desk here, and I got that smell again, just real slight. You can smell it, like it's distinct. It's a sweet smell, and it smells like perfume or air freshener or something. So that's it. So I'm just going to sit here and wait and see if I hear anything else.